Hi everyone, my name is Emily and I am an RBT. I like to give a disclaimer before we start. I am an RBT. Any service I give is under the direct supervision of a supervisor whom is certified by the BACB. Seeing my answers should not be taken as a direction and will not be the answer to a question. I am not responsible for any result, positive or negative, that comes from any message you hear from me. This is just my advice from being in the field. Every client needs to have their own individualized plan of service if they are receiving ABA services or from a multidisciplinary treatment team. This is not intended to be practiced as a treatment, as I do not have the credentials to write a treatment plan or oversee clients. Best results will occur in fidelity and under the multidisciplinary approach. I am just giving my advice and my perspective as a registered behavior technician. Thank you. Hey there, friends or families, depending on who you are or what you are. My name is Emily and I am an RBT. If you are here, you are either someone with autism or you are someone learning to talk to someone that has been diagnosed as autistic. So welcome to our presentation today. This is called I Have Autism. What does that mean? In this presentation, I'll be explaining the autism diagnosis, what it is not, and giving you examples of autistic persons. My name is Emily Bissina and I am an RBT. Autism or autism spectrum disorder is referred to as ASD. This refers to a broad range of conditions characterized by challenges with social skills, repetitive behaviors, speech, and nonverbal communication. So, what does that mean? Autism is different for everyone. Autism is not a label of being stupid or dumb. Autism is not embarrassing. Autism is not contagious. Autism isn't being a bad kid. And autism is not a specific look. You cannot look at someone and say they're autistic. You just can't. It can't be identified just by looking at someone. Autism spectrum disorder. I said that earlier. Spectrum, what does that mean? We can look at autism spectrum disorder looking at this picture we have here. So we want to think of autism spectrum disorder as a pie chart or a circle chart, not as a linear or line measurement. So someone with autism would not measure according to a color on a line graph. They would measure as different amounts of every color. So what that means here is looking at the top line, the autism spectrum is not linear. So we see our red, orange, yellow, green, blues, and purples. At the end, it says less autistic. At the front, it says very autistic. On the left, it says less. On the right, it says very. We don't actually measure autism like this. We look at autism as a spectrum looking more like this. So in our circle chart, down here for just some examples, we have social skills in red, fixations in orange, routines in yellow, light green in sensory issues, dark green in stimming, light blue in perception, dark blue in executive functioning, and purple as other. So someone with autism spectrum disorder is going to have different amounts of every color. Have you ever said, social interactions never go well for me? Listen up. Social interactions with people might feel uncomfortable at times. Maybe they look at you confused or they talk about something that you don't really want to talk about. Maybe they even tell you to stop talking. Or they tell you to listen better. Sound like you? Some people with autism struggle with social situations. It can feel hard to know if someone is happy, mad, sad, or scared. Other times, you might just feel bored listening to something somebody else is saying to you. You might also feel really excited about something that you like talking about. On the side here, we have a photo that says, eye contact can sometimes be uncomfortable for autistic people, but that doesn't mean they're not paying attention. So we can listen with our ears and our eyes. We don't have to be looking with our eyes to hear and listen. We can listen with our ears. We can listen with being in the same room. Sometimes we do listen with our eyes. Have you ever said, "Nobody understands me"? If you have, follow along. You should ask how other people feel if you do not know, to make sure that you are responding to the emotions that they feel. It is the same when others do not understand how you feel. You can tell them. If you are not sure, you can tell them, "I don't know how that makes me feel." If you do not ask, you will not know. Same as if you don't tell them, they won't know either. So different people feel different feelings about different things, right? For example, if I am around some friends who are saying they just love basketball, but I don't love basketball, that's not fun for me. But that doesn't mean that I'm right and they're wrong, and it doesn't mean that they're right and I'm wrong. They might like basketball, and that's how they feel. That's okay. I like hockey. Hockey is my favorite sport, but that doesn't mean that it's their favorite sport. So I feel happy about hockey. I don't feel happy about basketball. Maybe my friend feels happy about basketball, but I don't really feel happy about basketball. That's okay. We can feel different feelings about different things. That is the beauty of it. Have you ever felt like people make fun of you because you really like something? Autism can often come with special or restricted interest. Autism can make interest hyper-focused. For example, you just want to know everything about that topic, where it came from, how it started, how it's made, where you can get it, who was involved, why they did it, why they wanted it, what was happening before that, what happened after it. People without autism tend to have multiple different interests. They know a little bit about a lot of things instead of, in the case of autism, knowing a lot about a specific thing. And guess what? Both are okay. Being able to devote your time, energy, and interest to one specific topic can help you become very successful. There are many successful people that are autistic. Remember that autism is a spectrum. Remember, we talked about that in the beginning, and it looks different on everyone. So autistic people tend to focus on special interests that can result in high knowledge on a certain topic. For example, let's look at Albert Einstein. That's right, Albert Einstein. If you didn't know, Albert Einstein did not speak until he was 4 years old. Most children on this side here develop language skills at this rate. So at birth to 3 months, they start making the baby cooing sounds. At 4 to 6 months, they laugh and giggle. At 12 to 18 months, babies can start using single words. At 2 years old, children can put together 2-word phrases. And at 3 years old, children have words for almost everything and can speak 3-word phrases. Typically, in our neurotypical friends, Albert Einstein didn't speak at all until he was 4 years old. 4. He taught himself math. Math is kind of hard for me, at least it was. He taught himself how to do math. He wanted to be a teacher. There was a time when he couldn't find a teaching job, but he never gave up learning about his special interest of math and physics. He ended up becoming a professor and a speaker. He won a Nobel Peace Prize, which is a very, very big accomplishment. He came up with E equals MC squared. That talks about how energy and mass are related. So we use that a lot in our day-to-day life. And he came up with general relativity, or gravity. I'm sure you guys have all heard of gravity at some point in your life. Albert Einstein came up with that, and he was suspected to be autistic. Isn't that interesting? Albert Einstein. Someone who has came up with so many important things that we use in our day-to-day life was autistic. Tim Burton. Tim Burton, if you don't know, came up with a lot of these movies listed here. Beetlejuice, Corpse Bride, Nightmare Before Christmas, all these listed at the top are just some of the movies that he's helped in. He had a very special interest in strange and dark materials since he was really young. He loved horror movies. He felt like he didn't belong. I felt like that sometimes. His films showcased the main character feeling different and misunderstood. His talent helped him to express himself. So he used his special interest to express how he was feeling. And he identifies with the autism community. We have here that he hasn't been formally diagnosed with autism spectrum disorder, but he identifies with the condition, and many experts believe he exhibits these traits. He has a very unique perspective. He is very focused on his work. He has dark themes. He has isolated characters. He has an eccentric personality, and he experiences social discomfort, or kind of feeling uncomfortable and weird in social situations. Bill Gates. So Bill Gates is an entrepreneur. He is also a very wealthy person. He has a lot of money. Bill Gates also avoids eye contact. He displays a rocking motion, so kind of moving back and forth. He has monotone speech. That means he doesn't get really expressive when he's talking. So he doesn't have a really super high happy voice when he's happy, and he doesn't have a really angry voice when he's angry. Bill Gates has a monotone voice. He also has obsessive attention to detail, so he's very specific in his details. He also has difficulty in understanding social cues. Social cues like knowing what to do in social situations. What do you do with your hands? What do you do with your hair? What do you do with your face? He doesn't know those things. It's difficult for him. It's hard for him. And if you didn't know, Bill Gates is autistic. I know, isn't that something? If you guys do games or computer and you've heard of Microsoft, Bill Gates founded Microsoft. He dropped out of Harvard, so he went to Harvard. Harvard is really hard to get into, and he dropped out of there. He ended up releasing Windows, releasing Microsoft Office. He became a billionaire. A billionaire. That's a lot of zeros. He did that at 31 and is the richest man in the world at 39. Yeah, he has done many, many things. And guess what? He's autistic. Elon Musk. This man is the CEO of Tesla. Tesla, if you don't know what that is, those are those really cool cars that are self-driving. Pretty cool. He is also the founder and CEO of SpaceX. And he owns Twitter, which is now called X, but it used to be called Twitter. Back in my day, it was called Twitter. So if you guys have phones and you have social media, you've probably seen Twitter or X. Elon Musk owns that. He is also picked on in school, though. People picked on Elon Musk. He also has a very strong special interest for space exploration, and spends most of his time and resources advancing in that field. He is known for his intense focus and dedication to his work. He also has troubles with small talk, so he kind of feels uncomfortable with little small talk like, oh yeah, the weather's pretty cold out. Kind of feels uncomfortable like, what do I say to that? I know the weather is kind of cold out. What should I say? It's kind of weird for him. He struggles with interpreting nonverbal communication. So, nonverbal communication is really hard to understand because they aren't saying it. So, maybe they're doing something with their body language. Maybe they have their arms crossed. Maybe they have their hand on their head. Maybe they're rolling their eyes. But why? What does that mean? Why can't they just say it, It can be difficult sometimes. And if you didn't know, Elon Musk is autistic. Yeah. Another person, Emily Bissonette. Me. Yeah, it's me. My story kind of looks like this. So I had troubles reading in school. I had to go to special classes. I would get pulled out of my regular class and have to go to a helper who would help me read, learn how to rhyme, because I just didn't understand it and everyone else in my class did. So that was kind of hard for me. I struggled with interacting with my peers, so I didn't really know what to talk about when I was in school with my friends. I didn't really care what they were talking about, and they didn't really care what I was talking about. I almost dropped out of high school. I was having a really hard time. I felt misunderstood. I felt like no one understood what I was talking about. No one related to me. I just felt different. But I didn't drop out of high school. I actually started doing online school. Doing online school when I was in high school, I started taking college classes. So I was more intrigued because I understood the college classes more. They were more to what I wanted to learn about. My special interest, I love learning about the brain and behavior. So I have right now on my wall, I have a bunch of posters about the brain. That's my special interest. That's really cool to me. I like learning about that. I also started my own business. I've written 3 books. I am a published author. I began working in the ABA field as a registered behavior technician. So I get to help a lot of kids like me when I was their age get to learn how to deal with things, how to cope with things, different ways we can talk and express our feelings and learn body language and those nonverbal communications. Accomplishment for me that I have, I became a lead RBT for my county. So out of some of the people I work with, I am a lead, which means I kind of help them out and I get to do a little bit more with the learning process. I get to learn how to do assessments. I get to see deeper into what goes on behind that. I also became a state trainer for a couple counties where I'm at for QBS and CPR. And I am neurodivergent, which is in the autism spectrum disorder. Isn't that something? So I want us to look for a minute. Look at the success of some of the people that are autistic. And I want you to close your eyes. Go ahead, close them. Picture yourself being on this slideshow. So your name, your picture. What are some things that you've experienced? Maybe feeling misunderstood. Maybe feeling like nobody can relate to you. Maybe you had a hard time in school. Maybe making friends isn't easy for you. Now take a look at what you're interested in. What are your special interests? Are you really good with maps? Are you really good with remembering movie scenes? Are you super into history? Are you a really good artist? Now, keep your eyes closed. Where do you guys see yourself in 5 years? Think about it. What could you be doing in 5 years? What accomplishments could you make? What could you do in 5 years? Thinking about it? Good. What about 10 years? Where do you guys think you're going to be in 10 years with your special interest, your attention to detail, your dedication to what you're learning? Where could you guys be in 10 years? Because, friends, I'm telling you, you are going to change the world. Yes, you. The person I'm talking to right now, you are going to change the world. In one way or another, you single-handedly are changing this world. I mean, maybe you're not going to be the owner of Twitter, but maybe you're going to learn how to solve something that we are working on. Maybe you're going to come up with a theory. Maybe you are going to be in charge of something. Maybe you are going to be an artist. Whatever you are going to do is going to change the world. I promise you. Maybe you talk to someone and it gives them inspiration and you help them change the world. But at the end of the day, you are changing the world. Isn't that amazing? Truly, isn't that incredible? I hope this presentation was helpful. Feel free to go ahead and pause the screen here. The resources are listed. I'll also be listing them in the description below. If you guys want to go ahead and look at those for yourself, maybe do some more research in the comments. Tell me some more people with autism. What have they accomplished? Tell me your special interest. What are you super interested in? Where do you see yourself in 10 years? I want to know. Tell me in the comments below. Feel free to go ahead, family, friends, whatever, share this to someone who maybe has autism, but not really sure what that means. You know, maybe they know it's a little different, but what does it actually mean? And where can you go from there? Yeah, go ahead and share it. That's all I have right now for you guys. I'm so glad I got to talk to you guys. And if you guys have any questions or you want more videos, put them in the comments. I want to answer them. And if I don't know, I would love to find out for you guys. Truly. All right. You guys are awesome. And keep changing the world in the eyes of Emily, which is what my business is called. That's what I'm just doing, giving my perspective in the eyes of Emily. So thank you all so much for watching this video. You guys are great, and I will see you guys later.